Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jump Up Supercast, the only podcast on the internet where we're also on Disney Plus because why not? I'm Will, and joining me this week, Brandon.
I'm The Simpsons, and I'm in the wrong aspect ratio.
Ills.
What a great trailer.
And Saf.
Get ready for Kate Bishop, Hawkeye.
Hey.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So, boys, this week, right? Big week. A lot of things have happened. We're in the middle of video games. The last two big releases of the year arguably are coming out, which is Star Wars and Pokemon. But you know, we don't have time to look at that, right? Who cares? Pokemon, who cares?
Exactly. Who cares? Exactly
That's
right.
the biggest fucking...
You're finally on my level.
Oh my god, don't give him this ammunition.
He's right, man, for one time.
No!
I want to let you know I am tired of the Pokemon discourse. So you know what we're going to do.
Dog, it comes out in like 6 hours, man, from when we're recording this podcast.
I've decided.
So why talk about it anymore?
I'll talk about it. Pokemon podcast right now, let's go.
Fuck Pokemon.
Microsoft does not own Pokemon, but they do own some other things, and they showed them off at XO19.
Nice segue.
So we let's just get into that. We had the the quote unquote from themselves biggest inside Xbox of the year. Admittedly, a low bar, but they cleared it.
True.
Did they?
Yes, they did.
They did it. You watch any of the other ones, they definitely did.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I was going to say.
Comparatively speaking, okay.
Potentially off the benefit of lowered expectations. I would say XO19, which is their big fan event every year. Last year it was in Mexico City, I believe. This year it was in London. But the Inside Xbox presentation for XO19, I thought was overall an enjoyable experience, and there was actually more news than I expected walking out of it. So let's just get right into it. So first and foremost, let's hit the two new IPs from two studios that are under the umbrella of Xbox Game Studios. First off, a game from Rare. You may have heard of them before. They've made a couple of video games, which is called Everwild. And this is very much a vibes trailer, right? You're not getting a lot of gameplay here, but we do get the art direction. And a little bit of what you seemingly will be doing, which is walking up to animals.
Well, I mean, I guess.
We don't
if
really
you want to
know
extrapolate,
if
yeah,
that's
maybe.
true, but...
Which is interesting because there is back in 2008, there was a scrapped game from Rare called Savannah, which was very much sort of about this, sort of in the style of this, but it was far more realistic. This is very stylized, sort of. They show off two different creatures. One of them is a deer that sort of has its antlers unfurl like a leaf, which is cool.
Yeah.
Almost could be Pokemon.
Almost.
If only you could fight
The
them.
deep sigh from Mills.
I'm gonna insert as much Pokemon as I can.
Done it.
No, do it now. Just fucking get it all out of your system so we can get the fuck off.
Oh, we got gameplay impressions next week. Don't worry.
Yeah, good. Why?
But until then, when we have those gameplay impressions, I would say this is cool for a couple of reasons. One, I mean, Rare said in interviews for a while now that they want to focus on new IPs, and I think that's cool, right? People were like, where's Banjo? Let someone else make Banjo, at this point, I think.
He's on Smash, that's where
he is in Smash. But also, a thing that they said was cool was that they're going to keep updating Sea of Thieves while also working on Everwild, right?
That's cool. I like that.
Did Sea of Thieves ever get good? Or is it still shit?
Yeah. People love that game.
Oh.
The people that now play Sea of Thieves are extremely into it.
Nice.
Me and Will played it once, and we got destroyed by some pirates.
I played it in the last 6 months. It's fun. They've added a lot more sort of meat onto the bone of the game in a way that is enjoyable.
That's nice.
Pretty cool game.
Yeah. So
Really gotta work together.
Who knows? You can get, I think, like a gears thing for your ship right now, which is I'm not going to do that. But besides that, they announced one other game from Obsidian, who have just had a release, The Outer Worlds.
Busy, huh?
Yeah. And it's Grounded, which is essentially, if you've seen games like Rust, which actually got announced for Xbox at this conference, imagine Rust, but it's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. You're very tall, you're very small, And instead of chopping down trees, you're chopping down blades of grass. Instead of fighting like zombies or whatever it is you fight in Rust, you fight big ants. And it's multiplayer. Which, I mean, this is a game that I think is one coming in early 2020, so not a big wait for this one. But two, I think is interesting because Obsidian said they were sort of in an interview at XO18 sort of said, okay, well, you have Microsoft money. Do you want to go like super big again? And they said, no, like we think we're best when we just have ideas that we can explore and then sort of get out the door. You know, we don't want to spend years and years on anything in particular.
I like that approach, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I respect it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't always make an RPG. You know, you can't always like go for the big ass game. You got to go where the creation where the muses take you, as they say.
Yeah. And if you got ideas, flow with them, right? I mean, who knows? If they're doing a bunch, maybe they'll have some misses, but maybe they'll get like the next hit on their hand. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whenever a studio gets pigeonholed into making like a certain kind of game, it's almost always going to fuck up eventually.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they lose their passion for it, right?
Yeah. It's going to become stale, and you're going to be able to feel it in the gameplay.
Yeah.
And if they can just let their creative juices flow like this, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think it's a game that benefits a lot from being on a platform with Game Pass, right? Because this is a game that maybe it's like, how much do we charge 60 for this? Do we charge 30? How much do we do? It's like, okay, well, we're going to make this backbone be this $10 subscription service that people pay for, where suddenly it goes from, oh, does this justify the cost to, oh, I'll try this, right? I'm already paying for Game Pass. This is a neat thing to see. And having those shorter times to releases helps Game Pass have regular new first-party titles,
That too,
yeah.
And so that
seems like a good symbiotic relationship there.
Yeah. A couple of other games that they already had announced that are also from the first party they followed up on. They closed with Wasteland 3, which had almost over 3 years since they started their Kickstarter campaign way back in the day. But it's coming out in May 2020. And this is a game, it's interesting. I would say it skews niche, right? It's a hardcore sort of strategy, survival type game, right? Isometric view, sort of. But like for the people that are into Wasteland, like they're super hyped. And I think that is interesting that sort of seems to me Microsoft's strategy is, in this case, or like in the case of Age of Empires coming back, which just got announced as well, they're sort of filling the gaps where people sort of aren't being served in a certain way, right? And I think that's interesting to take for a company like Microsoft, right? Where like last gen, they were very much like shooters, driving games, another shooter, like the broadest of broada, and now they're getting real niche with it. Besides that, we had a follow-up also on Bleeding Edge, which is coming in March.
Yeah.
Which is, the game, there was a little bit of gameplay they showed, but it was mostly just like a character trailer, right?
Yeah, and I didn't get to see the gameplay.
Yeah.
I saw the character trailer, and I was like, oh, this looks... when we first saw it, I liked the style. I saw the character trailer again, and I was like, yeah, I still do. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
You guys were telling me the gameplay looks just okay, if not kind of...
Yeah, that's the impression I got from it. I felt like when I saw the character trailer, like this little training montage they did, I felt like they were trying to cover up for something. Like, they were showing us this because they didn't have any good, like, gameplay to show. And maybe that's just, like, a conspiracy theory or not, but...
Sure.
Like from what I saw of the gameplay, I was not very impressed. It looked kind of boring, but maybe it'll get better. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe it's one of those games that you have to play to get into.
There was a lot going on, and so I was sort of hard to tell like who was winning and losing, right? And so the hope would be that when you play it, you're sort of onboarded better, right, to sort of be able to understand what's happening.
Yeah.
Minecraft Dungeons had a similar demo with a sort of similar vibe to it, where they had like multiple people going at once and they were all using abilities and no one was really explaining what was happening.
Well, I mean,
so I was like,
Minecraft, it's basically a Diablo clone. You know what you're getting.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple in that, and I thought it was appealing in its way. So I didn't have the same negative or bland feeling as I did for Bleeding Edge.
A game that I thought had a neat demo that was sort of it was Kart Racing Drift or Kart Riders Drift, I think
Kart
actually.
Rider Drift, yeah.
Yeah.
And this and Crossfire are two games that they spent a fair amount of time on that are both huge in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
That was the thing I learned about Kart Riders, is that this series is like 15 years old.
Oh wow!
And and was a huge MMO, right? Like a kart racing MMO back in Korea.
Huh.
Kart racing MMO. Just I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Where is Mario Kart MMO? Come on, Nintendo.
Where's Pokemon?
It's
MMO,
true.
If you love Pokemon so much.
I mean,
that too. Thanks for bringing it back.
It's a meme. I just brought it back to the memes.
But I do think it's also funny because I guess this is technically the second biggest kart racer in the world when I was looking at the numbers. Sorry, Crash. But that I think this is a reminder of those things where like people were like, why are they showing us this? Even though I thought the demo was actually pretty good. The answer is this is an instance where this isn't for you. Like this is Microsoft saying, hey, we've only really been super successful in America, right? Like we've been marginally successful. We were more successful with the 360, but we sort of fell off a lot globally in this console generation. Yeah. And things like this are plays to, break into the Korean market.
They're pretty decently successful in Europe, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
They're not PlayStation lives Europe. It's their whole deal, right? So I think that they sort of are looking at places to potentially expand, and that's why they do stuff like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I don't get why people have to be all the time, be like, why is this? Why are they showing this? This isn't. I don't care about it. Like, it's like, not everything is for you. There's people. I don't know. There's some
Everything's
people
supposed to be for me. Don't you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is true.
My bad.
But,
yeah. Make it the ill
Apology
show.
not accepted.
There you go. Bad Pokemon and that sales.
Oh yeah, fucking do that.
Besides that, there was also an announcement for a new Don't Nod game called Tell Me Why. And what a name. There was a moment that made me laugh a lot where they're like, we're connected, and then like a whale jumped out of the water, and I was like, is this a Death Stranding joke? I don't know if that's intended or not. But it's very much, it's in the style of a lot of their games, right? You play as two characters who are brother and sister. And you're sort of in the description they just say that you go back to where they grew up, but part of the game is that you relive their memories, but as each of them remembers them. So the brother might remember a thing going this way, the sister might remember it going another way, and sort of you choose which one you think had the more accurate, which one feels closer to reality, right? And that's sort of the choice you make, and sort of you build that reality as you look at each of their stories, and the story goes from there. Which is sort of bringing in a little bit of like the Remember Me stuff, which they worked on last gen.
Mm-hmm.
But looked
Was
cool,
that game good?
pretty neat.
Remember Me?
It was
never played Remember.
It wasn't.
It had good ideas more than I think it was a good game.
Yeah, the gameplay was lacking somewhat, but it was decent.
Was that What the fuck was that other game? The Vampire?
Vampire.
Yeah, Vampire.
Vampire was them overextending themselves, I think. I don't think people like Vampire as much.
Okay.
But this game sort of seems to be smaller in scope, more in the style of Life is Strange, which is going to be on Game Pass, by the way. 2 is going to be there.
Life is Strange 2 is already on Game Pass, by the way.
Yeah.
But only the first 3 episodes, I think, right now.
So they said the last 2 are going to be on there as well. They confirmed.
Yeah, I kind of figured they would be.
Yeah.
The only thing that kind of sucks is they're not there when they launch. You have to wait. I had to wait, and I was like, God damn it! I got real close to buying them, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it because that's how they're gonna get you. They're doing it on purpose. They almost got me.
Yeah. But they did confirm, speaking of, that like Life is Strange 2 took a year. They said this is going to be 3 episodes over the course of the summer, so it's going to be a much tighter timeline.
Life is Strange 2, I feel like it has been just taking forever, dude.
Yeah.
Life is Strange 1 didn't take that long, right?
I feel like it was every 2 months or something. So like,
yeah, the second one though, god damn, it's pretty good, but yeah, I don't know why they're taking so long.
Mm-hmm. One other thing I think that's worth neat about Tell Me Why is I think it's the first like game starring a trans person to be on a stage, which is cool. The brother is a trans man, so that was I thought.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I wasn't sure. But yeah,
because there's a line in the trailer where she always wanted me to be daddy's or mommy's little girl.
I wasn't completely clear on that. Like they didn't make that explicit, but yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, They announced after that was
right.
what they were going for.
That's my fault then, because I fucking skipped all the fucking interviews.
that is yeah, we can get to that later, but the other things that they did, Halo Reach is getting added to the Master Chief Collection on December 3rd. It's been a while. We talked about this back in like May, but I mean, they're doing it up. It's 4K, Ultra HD, all that other stuff that they love to stick on these things. So that's cool. I like Halo Reach.
Master Chief Collection, what a goddamn like deal, right? Like holy crap. The things they've done to that game when they I feel like they didn't have to, but they did. You gotta respect it. What
a turnaround. And then let's get to sort of the services thing to, I think, wrap up so Game Pass, big day. I'm going to have to bring up the image because there's no way for me to remember. They dropped 9 games on Game Pass today. Including Rage 2, which came out earlier this year, Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, which was a shadow drop, and a few other things. But then in total, this holiday, they're adding The Witcher 3, they're adding, which is a big deal, My Friend Pedro, which is a cool game.
I'm excited about that.
It is a cool game. I played it earlier this year.
Darksiders 3 also getting added.
Darksiders 3, by the way, Darksiders 1 and 2 are on Game Pass now, but they're being taken off pretty soon, which is weird.
So now's the time.
3. Yeah, I don't know why they're adding 3 now, but they're taking off 1 and 2. It's kind of weird.
And then sort of in big just chunks of news, they announced Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, 10-2, 12, The Zodiac Age, 13, 13-2, Final Fantasy 13, Lightning Returns, and Final Fantasy 15, all to be on Game Pass.
Crazy.
Insane.
Yeah.
They did confirm 14 will be coming to Xbox down the line, which is wild to the MMO. Which is, I think, really cool. Obviously, like we talked before, how like back last gen, Final Fantasy being on Xbox for 13 was like the megaton or whatever people called it, right? But then they sort of like Square's been like foot half in the water ever since. They've been dipping their toes in. This is Phil Spencer made the joke. He's like, people notice I've been making a lot of trips to Japan. This is why.
Wait, was Final Fantasy 15 already on Xbox? It was, wasn't it?
It already was.
Yeah.
It already was.
So Xbox but like, essentially got the 2 worst Final Fantasy games? Is that how that goes?
I mean, they got the 2 most recent ones, so depending on...
and the 2 worst.
That's very likely.
Yeah.
I think 11 was on Xbox 360. But
yes, I think you're right.
They got one good one.
But I don't know, people kind of... MMOs people are weird about that one. Yeah. And then also, Yakuza 0, Kiwami, and Kiwami 2 are going to be on Game Pass early 2020 as well. Which is also the first time that they have been on an Xbox console, period.
That's cool.
These are games that, I mean...
They're on Game Pass.
They're on Game Pass.
It's exciting, because now you always tell me about them, and I'm like, it seems like a cool series. Maybe I should play it sometime. But
and 0 is the perfect jumping in point. So it's the smart one to add.
I mean, I could have always played it, because I have PS4, but
now God, no, please.
I was just gonna say now I can pay it without having to pay money for it.
Just leave it there.
Jeez.
But also the achievements.
Just leave it there.
Now that you bring it
up. And then this one no one mentioned, but I think is cool, by the way. Tekken 7's getting added to Game Pass in 2020.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Tekken 7 is maybe the best traditional fighting game that came out this gen. So
glad that you added traditional in there.
I wanted to make sure I didn't piss off the Smash fans. But besides that, and then this was I like this a lot. They just had a big montage of indies, and I was like, these are a bunch of cool games. Like we talked about the Red Lantern, which was that bobsledding game that was back in the Indies Direct a while back. There was Carrion, which was at the Devolver Direct. A bunch of different things. Skatebird, of course. Everyone loves Skatebird. And then
I played the demo for that game, and it wasn't that great.
Well, that's like early alpha, right?
Yeah, it was wicked super early, but...
and then a bunch of other stuff. But then at the end, they're just like, yo, dog, all this stuff is Game Pass when it launches. And you're like, what? Shit.
Carrion isn't out
you
yet.
gotta love it.
No. Okay, that's what all this stuff is all the things they showed were 2020.
Right.
But and this is, I think, really fast. I want to mention that we found this number out recently that Xbox has spent, I think it was $1.2 billion on indies this generation, which is a wild amount.
Wow, nice.
So
it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting a lot of support of indie games. Like, I play almost all my indie games on Xbox, and it's great. And a ton of them are free because of Game Pass.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that is interesting because, like, I don't want to, dunk on Sony unnecessarily when we don't have to, right? But very much at the start of this generation, they were extremely indie focused, right? They were the ones that were having the indie montages at their conferences, right? A bunch of sort of that type of stuff. And then with time, because Switch is portable, so it has a different thing. And now with Game Pass, like now there is, I think, a genuine use case for all the consoles to buy indie games on, right? Like if you want it portable, there's Switch. If you want to get, older indie games that are, on Game Pass, you can do that. And then like if the VR type of indie games are only PlayStation has VR stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's cool. But then finally, to wrap up,
I thought you were drawing a distinction between PlayStation and Xbox there.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. Xbox has like Game Pass, right, which is more like just volume, right? And then PSVR has a different genre, which is just the VR stuff, right? That's only on PS4.
Should have dunked on PS.
Yeah.
It could have. Should have. But here we are. But then we can dunk on another company because they said, hey guys, Project X Cloud is going to be on PC in 2020. We have 50 games in the beta right now. And then also, if you are going to use it, xCloud games can use a PS4 controller, which is pretty cool. And that you can now, in 2020, they will be launching a thing where you can stream Game Pass games to your Xbox, which, maybe at first case you're like, why don't I just download them? But I think the use case is sort of like, it's easier to try things out, right? With Game Pass, the biggest problem for me is downloading, right? It's like, this game looks neat, but like, do I have the hour to wait to download it? And so instead of you can press a button and see if you like it, that's a much easier way to test things out.
That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I thought it was dumb too until you pointed that out to me. Although for me, I have a 2 terabyte hard drive connected to it, so like I just have a shitload of space. And also with the app, you can download the Game Pass app, by the way, and you can download games when you're not even at home to your console. So that's really cool. I do that a lot at work. I'll see I'll get the notification. Hey, this game's out on Game Pass now. I'm like, cool. That's a cool game. I want to play that. Download. And then I get home and it's already on my Xbox. So.
Brandon, why aren't you paid by Microsoft right now?
My bad.
Hey, Microsoft, at me. Blue Eyes White Brandon on Twitter. Actually, don't follow me on Twitter. I post a lot of weird stuff.
That's probably why.
Phil, don't look. It's fine.
That's probably why.
But contact me at Microsoft. I'll work for you.
Yeah. Moose and Brandon
are coming up. I'll work the booth.
Yeah. Moose and Brandon are just waiting for phone calls from Nintendo and Microsoft, respectively. Just like, this is what they've been training.
Dude, Nintendo, too. Call me up, dog. I'll work the booth at PAX East this year. You better believe.
Now, of course, the other thing that they announced is that they have 50 games on the beta. Some of them, just a brief little, 6 of them is Devil May Cry 5, Forza Horizon 4, Madden 2020, Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, Curse of the Moon, Ritual of the Night, yep. And then Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which were just a few of them, and they were all playable at XO19. But the thing that's fun is that last game, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, is also on Google Stadia, which has...
Tomb Raider games are. It's a fourth of their fucking library.
It is a fourth of their library because they have 12 games at launch. Which is an amount, honestly, we could go over them. It is an amount. But so Stadia is launching next week. It's almost upon us.
Wow. It's here.
Yeah. But and the way they announced their launch games a week out was through Jeff Keighley, which is, Keighley's a way to do it. I like Keighley in general, but still weird. And then through a Reddit AMA, they confirmed some other things, which is that the achievement system will not have a UI at launch, so you can't see what achievements you're getting, but they will still know if you're getting achievements. So when they do add it, you will get those achievements. which is a thing. The founders. So apparently, if you have a Chromecast Ultra, people were wondering, can I make it work already? The answer is no. You have to buy the Founders Edition Chromecast Ultra and the controller to be able to play on your TV at launch.
Kind of defeats the purpose of the premise, right? I thought the whole point was that you didn't need anything extra. You could just play.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you have to buy something new. Then what the fuck? It's real dumb.
And then family sharing, you can't do at launch. So if like you have a game on your account and one of your other family members want to play it, they'll just have to buy it themselves.
Oh my god.
Oh god. Come on.
And apparently they don't have the web UI set up yet for launch for Stadia. So you need to go on your phone.
Wait, so why the fuck are they launching now? What the fuck?
This is my thought. They sort of, the way they made it sound, because the thing is you can't get like the 4K Stadia until January. I guess the thought was we'll soft launch it here. The hardcores will buy the Founders Edition, and then we'll fill out the features over the next 6 months.
The hardcores won't buy it at all.
That's my thing, right? Like, and in a situation like this where they're not dropping a ton of advertising money, right? And maybe partially because of that soft launch, you are relying on the people that will buy it to be your word of mouth. And if their thing is that this stuff is going to be weird and not quite work, and you have to have all these weird workarounds, like that's where that comes into being a problem. You know, the word of mouth will not be positive from those people that you're relying upon.
Yeah.
Man. Everything about this feels like a very strange half step, right?
Yeah.
Because if you go back to when they very first announced it, sorry.
Go ahead. I'm
fine. Like we were all like wanting to give it a shot, right? Like,
yeah.
A lot of the internet wrote it off, but like we were sort of like, if it works, and this is a cool idea. Yeah. But like it feels like every piece of news you just sort of like, I don't know, man. The answer, the ISPs will handle the fact that there will be data caps is the worst possible answer, and that was 3 months ago. It's a very strange thing. And then of course there's always the concern that if it does fail and you buy these games for $60, Google can close things down. They've shown a willingness to do that.
You don't have anything.
Yeah,
exactly. You don't even have a physical thing to be like, well, it's okay that they shut it down. I can still put. No, you can't.
Yeah, like you don't even have a hard drive it's downloaded to.
Yeah, that's. Yeah,
I'm not gonna be completely doom and gloom because maybe it works out, but goddamn, this looks like a train wreck.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's a chance it turns it around, right? But like I said, the day after they announced their 12 games at launch, like xCloud being 50 games just feels like a real insult, to injury. But that is that's the news for this week, like we've noted before.
Wait, I want to talk about Xbox All Access.
Go ahead.
Pretty awesome. They have like a program where you pay monthly, and they give you a Xbox and 24 months of Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah.
And what else? Oh, and when Scarlet comes out, you get a free upgrade. Well, it's not free because you're paying for it all the time. But yeah. So I thought that was fucking awesome. I'm really interested in this Xbox All Access. It starts the 18th, so by the time it comes out, it should start, right? This podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really considering buying it or getting it.
Yeah.
So that's officially in like everywhere, right? Because I remember hearing about it, right? And it was a weird. Like,
it's in America and Europe. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if it's in all areas.
Like a weird European bank or something from when I first read about it.
If you were in certain parts of Europe, you have to like have a bank account with certain banks to like prove you have credit. Because essentially you're leasing a console. Yeah.
But
essentially you're leasing the console, right? Like you're paying the $500 just spread over 2 years.
Well, that's really cool.
Well, it's I think it's actually more. You're paying more, but I mean, at least
well, if you factor in like Game Pass and stuff, like you're paying for that too. Then it would be more than $500.
Does that include Gold or just Game Pass? It's not Game Pass Ultimate.
It's Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah.
So
so there's 3 tiers of it. It's Xbox One S, Xbox One S, and the all digital one. So.
Yeah, the sad edition. Xbox One X, all digital.
And if you get the one that's Xbox One X, you can upgrade. You can upgrade to Scarlet after 12 months, and the other two is 18 months.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Which honestly, I like. I mean, if I had a little more money right now, I was looking at it, right? Because like the year of getting this, what is the most, the most powerful hardware on the market right now, and then essentially, if you plan on getting Scarlet at launch anyways,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's no reason not to.
Yeah. So I'm really considering
don't...
getting the Xbox One X. Like in a couple of days, it happened. So yeah, I might do it.
Yeah.
Oh, finally, somebody I can play all these multiplayer games with.
Here I am.
We did it. But yeah, so I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, sort of my thoughts on the larger XO19 before we really wrap up, I guess. And the presentation you sort of alluded to, right? Still needs work. I would say it's better than it has been. There has been some where I truly wanted to die. This one I didn't want to die.
Well, but I wanted to die every time that fucking guy talked about how great the trailer was, and it wasn't even a fucking trailer. My God, that Star Wars one, it was literally a commercial, and he was like, "Oh, what a great trailer!" I'm like, "Yeah, okay, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about."
I would kill myself when they were doing the interview for Project X Cloud.
It's
like,
yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry, you were going to say something.
No, I was saying, like, every time they have like a crowd cheering like that in like one of these shows, it's so cringy. I want to like, I don't know, it's so bad.
I was just going to focus more on like the responses and how very clearly scripted it is.
Yeah.
And they do the same voice. It's like, we here at Microsoft have a game for you in the next.
Well, it was the EA guy that was announcing that Madden is on xCloud that really got me, because he was like, he got the direction smile, right?
Yeah.
But clearly, like, it looked like someone was like punching him in the foot while he was smiling. Like he was like his eyes were showing pain, but his mouth was grinning.
I mean,
which I get that feeling, honestly. Oftentimes. But I think that, like,
if I had to be in that room, I'd feel in pain too. Just goddamn.
The XO19 is a fan event, right? People like pay to go or they show up. So like the cheering is. But I think, and like the interviews are replacing the person on stage talking, but on a certain way, the person on stage just like talking their announcement feels less of a lie, like, oh, it's here I am doing an interview, and it's like, no, you're not. Like, like you're delivering a soliloquy of a question, and they have a perfect response with no time to think about it. Yeah. Like, it's just let them announce it.
I mean, this is why I love Nintendo Directs. I don't have to deal with all this extra fluff garbage.
Yeah, it's no nonsense. The Nintendo Directs. Yeah. It's a really great structure.
You get what you fucking want. The fucking games, not all this talking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But overall, I do think that, like, it gave me the most PSX vibe that, like, one has so far, and I really like the PSX things in general, where, like, you got a bunch of smaller games and a bunch of weirder games, sort of, to a chance to show who they are in a way that, with less stakes than a E3 conference, like, Grounded works better here than it would in a big E3 showcase, in my mind.
True. That makes sense.
So it was cool. But yeah, so that is the news for this week.
You guys have highlights of what you liked from the show?
Oh, sure. I mean, it sounds weird to say like that Yakuza was a thing, but it was the thing I was most surprised at, just because I've been a fan of that series for so long, and it has been so only PlayStation.
Right.
Like there was one Wii U game, and that was it.
Yeah.
So that one surprised me.
Brandon?
Just Game Pass. All the stuff and focus on Game Pass makes me happy, because I got it for the next 3 years. So it makes me feel good to know that I'm getting my money's worth, even though I paid what, fucking $36 for the next 3 years. But if it's still, hey man, I'm getting my money's worth. So I'm glad they're keeping up with it.
Saf, you got any?
Yeah, that's a Kart Rider Drift. That looked like a really, really fun game, and the demo looked really cool. Like, it showed off a couple of neat features, like shortcuts and like how smoothly it drifts. Like, you can drift your karts. Like, that looked like a really fun game to get into.
Yeah,
and I'm hyped that they bring an hour.
Yeah, the one I liked the most was West of Dead. It's like like sort of, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a top-down kind of shooter with Ron Perlman doing the voice. He has a great voice, so that's a good pairing. And the art style looks really good. So I'm looking forward to that.
There's like just hopefully someone makes a playlist of all the trailers, so you can cut out the parts that aren't.
Please,
that's just them talking.
A hero.
But yeah, that's worth looking at. I'm happy you shout all those things out. Before we get to the thing we have to get to, Ills, do you want to give an important Ring Fit update?
Oh sure, okay. So last week I couldn't work out as much as I would like, so I didn't really get much progress. But this week we're back at it again. Even though my fellow Ring Fit adventurers are fucking slacking off so hard and are not joining me in the challenge, I'm the only one posting on the Discord, telling my daily fucking updates about how hard I'm working. But yeah, I mean, it's going really well. I found out that this game is a lot fucking longer than I thought it was. Holy shit. I'm at like World 8. I looked online to other people's profiles. Some guy was like at World 30, level 192. What? I was like, what the fuck?
Oh my god.
I'm like level 60. What? He's like more than 3 times ahead of me. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's a monster. But yeah, I don't think I'm beating this game anytime soon, because holy fuck.
What is how long to beat?
I don't know. I'm not sure anybody's beating it.
They said if you played like 30 minutes a day, it would take you 3 months to beat it if you didn't skip it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I can see that.
Fuck me.
Which is wild.
And yeah, so yeah, I'm playing, I think I said this before, but I'm playing with like a weight vest and ankle weights and stuff like that. So it's like, this game is fucking wrecking me. Holy shit, like today I was dying. And yeah, well, it's going well.
Uh-huh. There was the important Ring Fit update / airing of grievances.
Yes. I had to.
But now,
how long to beat has absolutely zero.
Yeah, because nobody's fucking beating it.
No one is capable.
I'm very disappointed in you, Will. I just want to let you know.
I too am very disappointed in you, Will.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
You know what? Fuck it, I am too.
Yeah, fucking get him.
Well, I feel attacked.
Good.
And another place where I frequently feel attacked is the list.
The list.
Follow along in the paste bin below, as every week we add one game to an ever-growing list of, I pause to scroll down, 145 games. Will be 146 by the end of this podcast. They're not all good. Some of them are bad. Some of them are just weird. A lot of them are from the Game Club.
Very true.
But we're going to rank them no matter what. Last week, I believe, was it Saf?
It was I.
And then we were adding a video game. Xenoblade Chronicles X. Oh, yeah.
Which every fucking week. You cannot remember.
It's as soon as I'm done with the podcast, I have to flush it from my memory. Which is 79.
Yep.
Pretty cool. This week, Ills, you are the one that is up and at 'em.
Wow. That's me again. So speaking of the representation of the club on the list, we have an old club that we need to get back to adding games from. And the game I wanted to add is Rystar. It's a platformer that we played, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years ago, for the Genesis.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good game, except for at the end it fucking goes crazy.
It gets really hard. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a neat little platformer that has a good art style, has a good lead character. Yada yada yada.
He's got stretchy arms.
Yeah, it was Sega trying to make another mascot, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's made by what's his name, Sonic Man,
Yuji Naka.
Yuji Naka. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good game, except for, like I said, the end where it just, I don't know if the game breaks, or I don't know what the hell happened there. What do you guys remember that
game? I remember. I really like the soundtrack of that game. It fucking bumps. Okay, yeah. I still jam to that soundtrack all the time.
It's a decent one, yeah.
I like it a lot. I rented this game a lot as a kid, and I actually picked this game when we did the older game club, because it was one of those games that's like, I want to go back to it, because I never owned it. I used to rent it, and I just want to beat it. So I did, and I really liked it a lot. The mechanic is cool with with Rystar. Yeah. So he stretches his arms and grabs stuff, and that's how basically you move around and attack enemies, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can also swing off stuff and zip around. and it's a cool mechanic, and they do it in some cool ways, but near the end of the game they do it in some really stupid ways, and the game just kind of the end of it.
Holy shit!
I think it's just the last level of that game. Was it the last level?
I think
or
it's
the level before the last
level before the last boss. I think it is where like you go into this section of the level, and suddenly he starts floating in the air. Like he pretends to be swimming in the middle of the air, and it's so fucking weird. Like you have no idea why he's doing it and what it relates to, and it actually makes the level so much harder to get through. So
it's extremely fucking difficult for no.
You have to do like
reason.
some fucking crazy trick jump to get past this fucking one part of the level. It's insane. It's so divorced from the rest of the game that like it feels completely weird.
The rest of the game's kind of cool, and I like it uses like I think from what I remember, a lot of the levels are very like it's got a lot of unique locations. Like there's underwater like temple you go through, and like a dark forest, and so
I really like the sprite work in Ristar.
Yeah, and like there's like a musical based level too, which was pretty neat.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah.
So, Ills, you want to add Ristar? Where would you like to put it on the list?
All right. So looking at the list, I know I want to put it below Toomba. I think Toomba is a better game, and Toomba's at 104.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think?
Okay.
Maybe below.
It's better than Kirby's Dream Land, I think. The first Kirby.
Yeah. So maybe just above it then.
Do you think it's better than Sacred Stones?
I don't know.
I heard you guys struggle a lot through Sacred Stones.
Sacred Stones is just so boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even still, I mean, the gameplay is good Fire Emblem gameplay, even though it's not, the best.
No, it's a pretty boring game.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I would put it like right above Dreamland. I don't know if you guys want to put it above Sacred Stone. I wouldn't put it above Legacy of Kain.
I wouldn't put it above Sacred Stone because like the ending is just kind of terrible for Ristar.
Yeah.
So I'll just
the last boss was hard as shit in that game.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Like unexpectedly hard.
There's that big fucking wizard guy. It was hard as shit. And I was so scared when I was playing it. I was like, I'm going to get a game over. I was like losing my lives. And I was like, dude, if I get a game over right now, I think I had like maybe one continue. And I was like stressing. I was like, I would have to play this whole fucking game over. It's one of those games, where you get X amount of continues or whatever. And if you
wasn't
lose
there
all, you have
also
to
like a boss where like he becomes frozen? There's like I don't know if it's like a seal, but like he comes out of the water and he's frozen. You have to do some shit with him. I don't remember.
Is he saying Kiss from a Rose?
Whatever.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time. I mean, you said we played this game like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And I beat it. I remember when I picked it, I like literally like the same day. I think I messaged in the chat. I was like, beat it.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's not really long. It was the first. Weirdly, it was the first ever like virtual console game I downloaded when I got my Wii back in the day. I don't know why. I was just like Ristar.
It's because you listened to the old Game Club.
It's true. I time traveled to know. But that is but I mean, for the people that have played it, right below Sacred Stones, then.
Is that what you want? Yeah, I guess if it's better than Kirby's Dream Land, and
I think it's better than Kirby's Dream Land. I mean, Kirby's Dream Land's like the most basic
it's pretty inoffensive
platformers there are, and it's even shorter than it. It's just like the most. I mean, Kirby's Dream Land's a game you can give to like you're like a fucking 6-year-old, right? And they'll be able to beat that game, which is great. That's a great thing.
That's what's made for.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's the most basic of basics. So I think it's better than that. Has a more unique mechanic.
Is Wii Fit too low?
Yes.
Should it go up like a couple spots? Damn. Anyway,
it doesn't matter now.
I guess not.
But it will be soon.
I mean, to be fair, New Super Mario Brothers 2.
It will be soon. What is it? This weekend we're doing it? Holy shit!
It's this weekend.
It's this weekend?
That's what I believe
it
so.
is this weekend. Fuck.
Holy shit!
I mean, we
got a lot going on. This
we're not required to do anything.
Wait, we are.
We could do it next weekend. We could do it next weekend. But we'll talk about that. Anyways, that is the Actually, we should. It's fine. So that is number 110 now on the list is Ristar. Ristar. I don't know.
I always called it Rystar. I've heard everybody. I've heard Restar and Rystar, but I'm a Rystar man myself.
We gotta call Yuji Naka to have him give us the scoop. But there it is. Surrounding it is 108 Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, 109 Fire Emblem The Sacred Stones, 110 Ristar, 111 Kirby's Dream Land, and 112 New Super Mario Bros. 2. Baby. That is the podcast for this week. We are going to okay, can I say, because this podcast will be going live, let's do the re-rank the weekend after this podcast goes live so we can actually plug it. Because otherwise it will have happened yesterday.
So is that true?
Well,
yes,
I mean,
this is going
we
up
plugged it last time, didn't we?
We did, but it wasn't like a great plug either. I can make that work. If you guys make that work, I can make that work. It's
make
fine
what work?
I have no.
Next week.
Doing it the 23rd, 24th.
Fine, whatever.
Weekend.
I don't care. Well, we have to do also.
Okay.
We have to do the episode. We should not be talking about this right now.
Yeah. All right. So let's say on the 23rd, on either the 23rd or the 24th, we will be re-ranking Ranker Series. We'll see if that actually matters, the fact that it's Ranker Series. We'll figure it out. But either way, 5 games on the list will be moved every time things happen. I promise you that much. You're missing out on a lot of lore that comes to the Jump Up Supercast if you are not there for the re-ranks. That's where things get heated.
Isn't it 6 games?
6 games, you're right.
It is 6. There's 6 of us.
There are 6 of us. I apologize. We'll see if Moose makes it.
He fucking better. I mean, who cares if he doesn't?
Oh, wow. Holy shit.
But that is where it happens, right? So then, and the way you will know for sure is by following us at twitter.com/jumpupsupercast. We will be live streaming us doing the podcast as well, us doing the re-rank. And that will be on our Twitch at twitch.tv/jumpupsupercast, so you don't miss out on that. Now, besides all that, of course, we also have a Facebook, we have an Instagram, both at Jump Up Supercast, or whenever you search that in your bar of choice. And then that's sort of it. You know, we appreciate you listening.
We
of
have
course.
a game club too. You want to talk about the game club?
Oh, is the game club? So the hotel, is that out already? Hotel Dusk?
Yeah. When this episode, just came out. I just uploaded it today when we were recording this episode.
Okay.
So it is already out.
Hotel Dusk. That's
Next
a game
we're playing. Metal Wolf Chaos.
Oh, that's a good 2 back-to-back. There's a lot to say about both those games. But until then, check those out every other Thursday, right? Every Monday we do this podcast. But Brandon, do you have a final phrase in your heart?
I mean, not particularly, but I can make one.
I can make one. Saf.
Make one. You sound like you want to make one.
Okay, I'll make one. This week, this year, there's been a lot of trouble in the video game world. There's people attacking each other. There's people angry. It's always happening, right? It's always happening. I look at it and I say, man, I want to provide a thing that happened, right? A sober reminder that before the tragic death of Satoru Iwata back in 2015, the last thing he had to do publicly was apologize for an E3 showcase, right? And I want to let it be known that is so sad. Like the last person, like he had to apologize because Amiibo Festival made us sad, right? And I think that is a thing I think back to often as a way to remember to be decent to the people that make the things we like, and to be decent to the people that enjoy things that we don't enjoy, because you don't know the situations where people are coming from, and you don't know what they're going through. And so the best you can hope for is to try to be nice enough that you don't add to their burdens. And so, as always, play video games. As Brandon says, be nice and just try to be decent.